You've come. Wise. Wiser than those other fools in the House of Ballads. It is their inability to see beyond themselves that has brought them to this end. This is my realm, and any who seek to cross it must first face my challenges. The Wall of Thorns awaits. I am not of the summer court, but a flower of the bleak winter. And I desire the one thing that the chill of immortality cannot provide. Love. You will not lay eyes on him until I find you worthy of it. I pull your strings now. If you wish to rescue your friends, you must cross the field of battle. As it is in the telling, so it will be for you. Only a true knight of the House of Ballads may pass beyond the wall. And every true knight needs armor. Tell me, beloved, are your tales worth a minstrel's breath, or are you just dust waiting to fall?
Look who it is, Crath. Hallam the White has sent his right hand to tear at Our Lady's good name. You are interrupting a duel for the ages. There can only be one Windermere champion, and it shall be me. Of course, Crath has never been one to concede gracefully. The pawns of Hallam only wish to harm our mistress, and they will feel the sting of our blades. Do not count yourself among them. That would be unwise. It is I, but in truth I've discovered a greater calling, a purpose that will never fade. I fight for the maid now, and she whispers her love to me. She is the only one who deserves our worship, the only one willing to stand against the telling and fight for her own ambition. She is glorious. Need our armor? Is this a jest? You will never impress the maid. She is only interested in true knights of the realm. Perhaps you are just fighting over who should be the maid's true champion. Unless you believe yourself worthy of such an honor, then by all means challenge one of us to a duel. The prize, your sought-after armor. We honor this field of battle in the name of the maid, who can have but one champion. Only one defender of Windermere, and one worthy of her love. Creth thinks it is he who she desires, but he is wrong. He is always wrong. There can only be one defender of Windermere. As Sir Elswyn was no longer worthy, Creth and I dispatched him hastily, and in a manner befitting one of his service. You may win more than just my armor, Sagril. You will know that you are truly the victor, for Eärmer is the greatest knight ever to raise a sword in the maid's name. Indeed, I must confess, this was the outcome I desired. Shall we?
You have chosen. The maid can only have one champion. The maid's hand has turned me to the light of truth. What did it show me? It showed me that the House of Ballads is in ruins. Escape while you have the chance. Her Majesty will no longer be overlooked. Try as you might to vanquish the Emerald Lady, you will not succeed. She is everlasting. Yes, you know me, but I stand for my lady now. The Maid of Windermere is everything. Goodbye.
Meek and crept through summer's end to break the seal of magic's veil. Auror's love she'd pretend. Seduced by Belmaid's false love, Sir Auror let her through. Then Belmaid did cloak herself and castle she flew.
I grow more impressed with every head you lay before me. Well done. You rival even Sir Elswyn in your foolish arrogance. You may have passed the Wall of Thorns, but the Weeping Gorge proposes its own unique challenges. He was captain of the Royal Windermere Guard, and my staunchest defender. His body lies below where it fell. I mourn him in my own way. Like all the elders, little phantoms hiding behind the victories of the past. Weak minds are the easiest to control, and those two are mine now. It is what prevents my enemies from simply marching into my kingdom and feeding it to the flame. To raise the bridge, one must defeat its guardian, the legendary Sir Elswyn. Only then will the path make its way open to you. Alas, Sir Elswyn has been killed, as goes the story. This time I fear he's staying quite dead. Another terrible price of our waning magic. Pity.
I have you right where I... Wait! What's the meaning of this? Who are you and where is my opponent? Oh! I see what happened. Blast! Perhaps next time. I was once a grand knight in the clan of Isa, but misfortune befell me when I believed the lies of the witch. She lured me, wooed me, honored me, promised me power. I became the champion and protector of her castle. That did not last long. She tired of my service and my love. Just look at the result. A great sword to the throat, how else? It was gloriously bloody, if I recall. The champion had been told to end my service to the maid. Really? I don't think so, Dustling.
Enough, mortal. You presume too much. This song does not belong to you. There can only be one champion, and his name is Sir Creth. Perish and rot as a corpse in the sun? Huh, it's a bit late to change your mind now, isn't it? Goodbye.
You are brave. No mortal has ever set foot in my domain. Isn't it wondrous? I've spent centuries whispering my wishes to the earth, the trees. The crystal has made it so. Never before has there been one worthy of sharing it with me. Do you fancy yourself a ruler? Join me and my enchanted beasts in this, the autumn of my kind. You do not dare speak to me in such a manner. I am the author of the future, not you! Hallam has seen it, and I dream of little else. The tale of the Fae enters its final telling. All the old songs will perish with their heroes, and a new era will begin. And while the end is near, it has yet to be written. You are the harbinger of change our people have long feared, and with you lies our legacy. Whatever I desire, it makes possible. I wanted to change the ballads, and I have done it. I wanted Wenson, and he is mine. The Prismeer makes it so. Those who seek to be my subjects, to serve me in every way. The wild fae you see before you are under an enchantment. This keeps them docile. You are safe here so long as you do not anger my friends. They will pay you no mind. But some advice. Keep your weapons sheathed. Wenson waits for you in my castle, but only a fool would simply invite you in. And I am no fool. I have been part of this story for too long. This village is my legacy, how the world will remember me when all the courts have fallen. Below, my army prepares to wipe clean the songs of yore. You could lie beside me in the waning days, but if rescuing Wenson is what fate has written for you, then you will find him, and you will find me.
welcome. You're not at all what I expected. I am Sagril, Chancellor of Windermere. She said you were beautiful, although I have noticed that she has peculiar tastes. You're just in time. Our little army is building up quite nicely. I was beginning to fear that we'd actually have to execute the lady's plans, ludicrous as they are. Every summer ballad ends in the maid's defeat. Time and again she has played the villain. Now she intends to change that permanently, and she has the power to do so. This army is not a new device, not at all. It is all part of the great ballad Cursed Kingdom, in which fair Queen Bellmaid reduces the maid's army to a scattered mob. It is the source of her power and of her madness. Normally she's not so terrible to be around, if you don't mind plotting and treachery, that is. The beasts in this village may act civilized, but they are anything but. Cross them and they will kill you, just like their wild cousins would. Please, it is just Sagril. I am no knight. I only recently came of age. The maid seized me just as I was leaving my hollow, as though she had been waiting. The great cycle has left me vacant, but I am no friend of the Maid of Windermere. Though the Winter Ballads name her a hero, her favoured role is the heartless tyrant. Of course you are, forgive me. I often forget that my time with the House of Ballads has passed. Now I am but a prisoner of the Maid. You all are. You see, this place, it's calm. It is only an illusion. The Maid uses her strange crystals to pacify the beasts, just as she enchants our friends. We must destroy the crystals to earn our freedom. But they are invisible to all but the Maid. It is her song that calls them. What are you doing here?
The maid would make an army here, some hundreds of thousands strong. And like the rakish Sir Sagril, Belmaid snuck through entranced glade and found the source of evil there, a crystal of the maid. Hammer she took in hand, and, singing like the lark, she ended the enchanting haze that deepened in the dark. The creatures freed, released from spell, became savage once more. The crystal posed a threat to Fae. Belmaid had to smash the ore. The maid was thwarted once again, this time by Belmaid's might, a house of ballads heroine, who brought to darkness light. She may be queen of Wenson's throne, but learn you well this tale. A woman's strength lies not in men, but where men often fail.
Come in. Quite a display, my friend. It makes me proud to share a name. You made quick work of the maid's army. The lady herself, however, will prove more formidable. Take this. It's the key to the village bell house. That bell rings with the same tone as the flute, only louder. So loud it can be heard across these high mountains. The toll will break the enchantment on the maid's castle. Then you will have your chance. Make the most of it, my friend. It may be your last. And now I am free. I do hope we meet again. I would like you to have this. It's a talisman. I have no need of it where I am going. May your gods protect you.
Welcome to my home, beloved. I hope it suits your fancy, for you will never leave it. I loathe this rock. Its chilled corridors and dripping ceilings, its whispering haunts of a past long dead. I no more wish to be the queen of this castle as I do to return to it again and again. I will escape its legacy. That is a promise. The fates of Creth and Aermer are on your head, my love. Those good knights were victims of this decaying pattern, sacrifices to the House of Ballads. As for the others, they will fulfill their roles shortly. Each has been saved, freed from their well-worn paths. They walk a new road now. My road. Wenson is here, along with his court of enchantments. The great halls and corridors echo with their voices, of the ancient stories told and forgotten. It is time to begin anew, for we write the final chapter of the House of Ballads. Only when the memory of ancient glories has faded, can new glory be forged. Everything you see, the castle and all that resides in it, could be yours. That includes my love. Consider it.
And to the dawn, and to the echoed dusk, I, the king of ancient ballads, scepter of this house, falcon of Detir, annihilator of Elkmar, and on, languish in unified sea. We will hear no more from broken sages, nor listen when we venture forth alone. These wintry beacons like the brazen gull that calls and boasts to others of her kind, from Magwir, maid of Windermere, that once again enraptured me in my hollow.
Sagril, you've come at last. It's time to cross swords with one worthy of your talents. You have caused the maid much grief, and that saddens me. Luckily, your death will provide her much pleasure. I've seen the world as it could be. A realm where I can be what I choose, go where I choose. The maid has enchanted me with her truth. I honor the Emerald Lady with every head I lay at her feet. Yours is next.
Like the terrestrial cane, a crutch that saps the dew of youth. And yet here was beauty manifested, a heart serene, sublime, a clamorous cascade, all in calumnious wonder. When night falls on the countryside, the noise of wanton opprobrious lechery, the stench of sullen gloom, and the false corpse of sordid history exhumed to please, compounded and again interred into the womb of the past. Then am I lost. loves her slave, the skeletal mind of sleep. A deathly pagan of submission that trembles near her touch. From ecstasy so base she laughs. She is all. I adore her. I love her without repudiation, malcontent, denial, or falsehood. At times beneath a veil of lusty happenstance, to prove there is no more of Belmaid, my old love. There is only Magweir, only Belmaid.
At last you've come. The maid has made her sick fantasy a reality. Everything she was has been warped by the Prismere crystal she holds so dear. It is difficult to tell if she controls it, or if it controls her. We must escape this place. The telling has failed us, Sagaril. Nothing is certain. Enchanted, all of them. All to write her twisted tale of dominance. This isn't about breaking the shackles of the past. It's about power, nothing more. I've been captured by the maid many times in the telling, and I've always escaped. This time, however, I'm afraid the outcome may prove different. If we must. But I fear I have no role in this song now. We are far beyond what is familiar. The maid will be in the courtyard, where our ballad finds its end. Come, I will show you. Perhaps then I will find the courage that is required. They're around here somewhere. We must find the others. They are trapped somewhere in the depths of Windermere. They're around here somewhere.
Look at this, Olaine. The maid's old keep still has vermin lurking in its shadows. Tell me, Sagril, is there a reason we shouldn't exterminate you? I was offered a new telling. One where I no longer bowed to the will of a man who is in every way my inferior. For the first time, I was given a choice. I know who I am. I am Bellmaid, servant of the Queen of Spring, the Maid of Windermere.
sacred vows of the rising sun. The eternal flood of a love lies near, a streamlet of satisfied honeyed truth, like the flowered scent of a bedewled veil, so wistfully endures the swollen heat. Persists through time and doubt, until at last, like heaven's jury in a court of chance, proffers forth the once impending evil. A love, but this one most divine and fair. The memory of Queen Belmaid, my faith, my heart and will. The gentle calming wind that like the supine earth a tree's embrace, I'd welcome it. I remember Belmaid.
Stop! Sagar, wait! Go no farther. I can't do this. I can't. You must understand. Every time I have faced the Maid of Windermere, we've both dangled by the strings of fate, puppets in the telling. Now she is free of those bonds. I would not even know how to face her. Before, my victory was assured. I have never known failure. This story is yours now, my friend. Take the King's token. You are the only one left worthy of possessing it. It was you she wanted all along. I believe in you.
We meet in the flesh at last. It is a pity our relationship ends here. I was beginning to think we had a future, as creatures of common purpose. So they say. But you and I both have seen the coming fire, a change the likes of which no fae, summer or winter, has ever seen. The telling will never cease, but the ballads that make up its grand design will wither and fade, and new ones will blossom on the vine. All you have witnessed was for me alone. It was justice. Imagine a lifetime of bondage 100 times over, and you will know my suffering. You, though, you are special. You are one capable of comprehending such concerns. We too, we are misunderstood. Perhaps, but you and I are the same. We challenge the past and strive to rewrite the future. We are singing the greatest song of all. The Tuatha have taught me that power only comes with the willingness to destroy, to begin anew and tell new stories. And in Prismeer, they have found the means to do so. I weep for what might have been. You and I, side by side, wielding the power of the crystal. But there can only be one hero. in the flesh at last. It is a pity, so the telling will never cease. But the bad, all you though. You, perhaps. But you and I are the two I weep. In the flesh at last. So the telling will never cease. But all you though. Perhaps the two I weep for. meet in the flesh at last, so that the telling will never cease. All you, though. You, perhaps, the two I weep for what. In the flesh at last, so the telling will never cease. All you, though. You, perhaps I. In the flesh at last. It is a pity, or perhaps the two I weep for. flesh at last. It is perhaps the tool I would. We meet in the flesh at last. It is perhaps the tool I weep. We meet in the flesh at last. Perhaps the tool I. We meet in the flesh at last. Perhaps flesh at last. Perhaps I... We meet in the flesh at last. Perhaps the two I weep. In the flesh at last. Perhaps the two I weep. We meet in the flesh at last. Perhaps the two I weep. We meet in the flesh at last. It is perhaps the two I weep. meet in the flesh at last. It is a pity our relationship ends here. Perhaps. But the two are... I weep. We meet in the flesh at last. Perhaps the two... I weep. We meet in the flesh at last. Perhaps the Tuatha I weep. In the flesh at last. It perhaps the Tuatha I weep. In the flesh at last. Perhaps the Tuatha I weep. seek only justice for what has been done to me all these many lifetimes. Don't I deserve as much? Don't we all? This is the kiss of death. You mock me, beast.
Of nature ensues. Yet I'll not harm her, nor preclude justice. A single parting gift of love I give to this misguided maid of Windermere. She will not suffer as I suffered, no. A swift and painless death I grant to her, and give her illusion, as she to I. And balmy blood and breath from her pours forth, a hidden dagger wielded in my hand. A torture to see the ignorant soul. The white birds of winter slowly chased each other to the cold ground as the mourners wept their tears of the hero and the maid. Your Grace.
The telling is ours again. You've saved us.
You have returned, victorious. I know you had a chance to change our telling, to break the Maid and the House of Ballads from their natural course. Yet you did not. You struck down the witch Magwer and restored our legacy for now. But there were casualties. The Maid's death rendered Wenson impotent. This cannot stand. As a result, you have ascended to your rightful place. You are now Queen of the House of Ballads. Do not worry yourself, Highness. You did everything within your mortal power to prevent these events from taking place. And in many ways, you found success. But this is a new era, one in which the seasons ahead are known to no one. Not even you could have predicted the Maid's actions. It is a popular tale, featuring the Summer Court's most treasured rogue. One afternoon, Sagril, his head sleepy with wine and dreams of women, awoke to a terrible roar. The treacherous Maid of Windermere, villain of the House of Ballads, was summoning forth a beast from beneath the earth. She wished to send it against Wenson himself. When the Maid departed, Sagril tread into the beast's lair and killed it, only to realize that it was simply the first of many deadlier enemies. What a song!
Find you here. That damned tree sent me. He has roots and branches all through the forest, but I was so hoping you'd be enough of a distraction for me to pass unnoticed. He said we should walk this path together. Thought I could help you, or maybe that you could help me. I've never met Nash. Trolls and Darkleifar rarely invite each other to tea. But if she's matriarch of a clan, you can be sure that she's strong. And if she's so corrupted that Niralim is nervous about her, then she must pose a bigger threat than most trolls. That codex isn't just a complicated law stone. It seems to tell a tale most Fae don't want to hear, and created by High King Tatarian himself, no less. Interesting. For a long time, they were content to keep to their play of the summer and winter courts. Now we fight Gadflow and the Tuatha for our very existence. The Gardens of Issa, home of the Summer Fae, once spread from the forests of Dalentarth, across the plains of Erethel, and even through the deserts of Ditir. Between the madness of the war and the spread of Man, Alfar, and Nome, the Summer Fae lose a little more ground every day. A tragedy for them. The Winter Court, or the Unseelie, embrace the destruction and decay of nature. They aren't evil, but they aren't exactly the best of friends. Normally they share power peacefully with the Summer Court. But since the Tuatha have seized power, there is neither peace nor predictability. The Tuatha are a radical sect of Fae within the Winter Court, led by Gadflow and his insane rants about their new god. They've taken power and declared war on mortals. They use raw Prismere to enhance their power, and their devotion borders on madness. But the most terrifying thing to the Fae is simply the fact that their siblings have changed so completely. A close friend once told me, strive to be whatever you want to be. Fate might be a lie, but if it isn't, then worrying about it won't change a thing. That old coward. He may have lived 100 heroic lives, but he's lost the moment he faces something truly new. Pathetic. The Fae do not have a written language, so their tales are their lifeblood, their history, and their future all in one. The House of Ballads is where they enshrine these legends and celebrate them time and again. Niralim is the oldest living mortal. He remembers the time before even the Fae called these lands home. You should see how they cherish him. He rarely grants an audience to visitors. His tenders say he knows the future as well as the past. It makes him very particular about what he says. You haven't been around much, have you? The Tuatha have been pressing west from their home in Alabastra. Right now, they're only threatening my people. But if we fall, the Tuatha will turn their eyes to the other mortal races. We've known for a long time that Prismere crystals allow us to store and focus magical power. The gnomes use it in their grander inventions, when they can get it. But we have no idea how Gadflow got a hold of so much of it. It makes his Tuatha the most dangerous army I've ever seen. The Summer Court, or the Seelie Fae if you prefer, embody the growth and energy of nature, but they can still be as aloof and uncaring as a brutal summer day. The current High King of the Fae is Titarian, the wisest of the Summer Court. While Gadflow has undermined the Winter Court, he tries to keep their cycle in balance. Titarian isn't quite what you'd expect from the High King of Summer, but he hasn't got the arrogance of his cousins, or their cheer. Ever since Gadflow killed the High King of Winter and started the war, Titarian has become distant and melancholy, and blind to the dangers around him. Let's not keep Nosh waiting. Trolls aren't normally this well organized. Even the biggest clans never built dens this deep. What are the two Arthur doing here? If these trolls ever went on a rampage, they could destroy half of Dalentar. Looks like the Tuatha have been working here for a long time. If they've come this far inland, we're all in grave danger. Prismere. The Tuatha come to her. Prismere. The Tuatha bound to her. Nice work. I see you haven't forgotten how to handle yourself in a fight. Still, this is bad. I didn't think the Tuatha would reach this far. At least not so soon. Obviously, the Tuatha have bigger plans than just killing you. Infusing the trolls with Prismere. Trying to bring the war to Dalantar? Nirelin was right to be concerned. Aren't I always? But have patience. For now, why not take comfort in knowing that you saved Nirelin and his forest? Go, talk to the tree. I'm sure he'll allow you into Issa. I'll stay here and finish off any remaining Tuatha. You can tell the old mossy log yourself. I'll be tracking down any other Tuatha that may have come this far west. I'll find you again when the time is right.